Hello and welcome back to the JW Thoughts channel. My name is Wally and today I'm doing the annual meeting recap. I thought it would be good just to cover some of the main points that happened at the annual meeting in case anyone missed any of those videos in just a short, sweet, good to eat, and it'll let you beat your meat. This is the worst intro of all time. Well, with all of that being said, don't forget to drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel. Oh, I need help. Short, sweet, good to eat, and it'll let you beat your meat. Short, sweet, good to eat, and it'll let you beat your meat. Short, sweet, good to eat, and it'll let you beat your meat.
So, Sophia, what do you think Jehovah is teaching you about friendship?
That I have to choose my friends carefully.
And how can you know if someone should be your friend?
If they help me be Jehovah's friend. I am not gonna join the club.
That's my girl.
We are so proud of you, Sophia.
And Jehovah is proud of you too.
Alright, so first off we have the Caleb and Sophia video. Watching it for the first time, I was properly miserable because it is designed to teach Jehovah's Witness children that it's okay to be lonely and it's fine if you feel sad. For those of you that didn't watch it, I'll give you the quick breakdown. Sophia, she's feeling very lonely at school. She doesn't have very many friends, or any friends for that matter, and she wants to join a science club because all of her friends are doing it and it seems kind of wholesome and fun and there's people her age. So she goes to her dad about this issue and his solution is to just start making stuff up and calling it biblical, even though the stories about Jesus and Martha don't even exist in the Bible. It was very odd. But anyway, at the end of the day, she's like, yes, I'm not going to join the science club because those kids aren't going to help me be friends with Jehovah. And being friends with Jehovah obviously means being a Jehovah's Witness. Having taken a little bit of time to sort of step back and not just be reactionary and irritated at the whole thing, I do find it extremely sad that when Jehovah's Witnesses are born into this world, they are immediately going to be getting training now via this video that, hey, yes, we understand that you're lonely and there's not a solution. There's not a solution for you to actually be happy in school and have friends. It's not an option for you. You just have to be miserable. You have to isolate yourself because that's what Jehovah, the organization, wants, and that's the only way that you'll really be happy. It is a horrible piece of propaganda and one of the worst things to come out of the entire annual meeting.
How could we? We're scattered over the whole face of the earth. But we do need to remember the same things that the first century Christians needed to remember. Don't put our trust in the religious and political systems of Satan's world. Why is this so vital? Just as in 66 CE, today we see one event after another leading up to the final day. Everywhere there is evidence of political instability and infighting, not only among nations, but also within nations. Religious, political, and social issues, including abortion and homosexuality, have become divisive topics. Scientific issues, such as global warming, have also become political issues. Just as in the first century, we must take to heart Jesus' warning. Don't take sides in the chaos that's happening all around us. Yes, keep your focus on the kingdom hope.
If God exists, it's fucking me!
And then Jeffrey Jackson went on a bizarre and long-winded diatribe about how, because Jerusalem was destroyed by the Romans, now we know that the end is right around the corner in 2022. It was very, it was very strange and bizarre, and it's kind of like classic JW fear-mongering, right? It's like, hey, we can have confidence that the Bible is accurate and true because of this thing. Therefore, you can have confidence in the people that interpret the Bible for you, me and the other governing body members, so you know that the end is right around the corner. And it was one of those classic examples that I like pointing to, because I get so frustrated when the governing body just says, Bible's here, Jesus is here, God is here. But you know what is above all that? What I have in my head. And it's just an absolute example of the hubris that the governing body demonstrates so blatantly whenever they come on camera.
I sat in the Kingdom Hall and didn't know what to plan next. The elder who was on shift at the Kingdom Hall took time for me, and he encouraged me very much. He acknowledged everything I had gone through and comforted me, letting me know that I was now safe. He assured me that Jehovah is with me and will continue to support me, and that I have no reason to fear.
Different brothers and sisters began to visit us straight away, and each time there was someone new, and they always brought some bags or boxes. And for the non-witnesses, it was like a miracle. And they kept asking, "Do you know them? Are these your relatives? No, we have never seen them before. Why are they helping you?" Oh, it was such a good witness.
Now, for various reasons, I didn't include any of these sections in the actual YouTube videos, but basically they are taking people that were displaced from their homes in Ukraine and had to go to other countries for their own safety or the safety of their families, and using the generosity of the local Jehovah's Witnesses that took them in and cared for them and helped them out, and, you know, were actually providing support and basically saying, hey, look how wonderful it is that the organization is taking care of people. And yet, again, as in almost every one of these examples, we never get to see a real example of Watchtower coming in and really genuinely helping people, you know, without trying to get money back or anything in return, or just using government funds that they receive and passing those along as if that were coming from the organization and it was a blessing from Jehovah. Some truly disturbing and disgusting comments. And yeah, if anyone is interested, maybe check those out. It's about like the middle of the video when it does come out on jw.org.
See? And just like in literal wars, submarines are used, sneak up on the ships. Well, Satan's same way. Him and his demon horde. So he's going to use any means he can try to wreck our ship. It's an individual one-on-one with Jehovah. And, you know, many of you, I look out, see you couples very close, love each other. Well, you know, your mate, for those of you married, has to have this kind of relationship with their father, Jehovah. Everybody does. You know, unless you're a toddler, then you're going to be in God's hands. If your parents are witnesses, that's a good chance you'll be okay. So this is war. That's the point.
Why are you the way that you are?
And then Tony Morris gave us a real humdinger. Yes, this is war. Satan is like a U-boat out there trying to deceive you and ruin your anchor, your faith. And hey, you couples sitting out there, better look at them and be, hey, be careful. Be careful, because this is an individual battle. And you toddlers, you know, you're in Jehovah's hands. And if your parents are witnesses, then there's a good chance you'll be okay. A good chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Now, remember, these are people that are thinking in their minds that they're going to be participating in the slaying of billions of people at the incoming war of Armageddon. And during this incoming war of Armageddon, they are going to be judging people. More on that later, some of that spectacular new light from Stephen Lett. But they are not only going to be killing, but also participating in the judging of people. And in Tony Morris's mind, he says, well, you know, if their parents are witnesses, there's only a good chance. How is a toddler not like automatic guaranteed to be, okay, well, I mean, they're obviously a toddler, so we can't, you know, just be clearly, guys, right? I mean, we're not going to do this to a kid, right? Tony, what are you doing? Oh my God, what are you doing, Tony? Stop! Like, put everything together. They think they're going to be judging people. They think they're going to participate in killing people. And he only thinks that it's just a good chance that toddlers will be spared. If this isn't completely frightening to people that have never been a Jehovah's Witness, or even that are Jehovah's Witnesses, I think that this talk should be a pretty good wake-up call to witnesses. Like, hey, your leaders are completely unhinged, and they are giving it to you on a silver platter. Here are some unhinged statements from us. I hope you enjoy your meal.
It's not even pink, it's raw!
Welcome to the School for Overseers, Principles of Divine Oversight, Acts 6:3.
This must be the greatest title we have ever seen the Watchtower come up with for one of their silly schools. But somehow, in the space-time DaVinci Resolve editing software continuum, I completely missed this, or maybe I just don't even remember it. But yeah, we might actually get a few extra clips from this because I literally don't remember even seeing this. So I may have accidentally cut it out when I initially watched it. So who knew we'd be getting some fresh content on the annual meeting 2022, Wally's review and thoughts from Psalm 37:29-4 on the 22nd of March. Like, what is this title though? Like, why do you have the scripture in there? So hilarious. Anyway, let's see what this is all about.
Due to the rapid expansion of the work taking place around the world, there's a pressing need for more loving and effective overseers.
What would you say are the marks of a good overseer?
Oh yes, due to the expansion we're seeing across the world, to be fair, Watchtower seems to really be hitting their stride and getting in more members than they've ever have at any point in all of history. The organization can't even plug its own holes at this point. I genuinely believe, I know we'll never really know because who knows about how they report their numbers, but we had a year where they reported a decrease in numbers. And just with how many people we know wake up every single day, every single week, every single year, like, what are you talking about? You're closing kingdom halls. You're selling off properties. You're telling people they need to go now and drive for an hour to get to these very important meetings. Everything points to Watchtower is absolutely dying. And what are they trying to claim here? Oh man, we have all this expansion. We need you brothers. Yes, we need these fine, loving, qualified elders. I am curious though, what are some of these fantastic qualifications that are necessary in order to feed God's sheep?
An overseer's primary job is to take care of people.
And by take care of people, what we really mean is, you know, it's more of like the mobster sense. Like, oh, is that someone over there asking too many questions? Has that person been kissing someone that we don't like? Yeah, you better go take care of them.
He humbly accepts the reality that he does not know everything or have all the answers.
Humbly accept that you don't know everything, but then immediately turn around and pretend that you literally know everything about the entire universe.
Don't get stuck in the past.
It's really amusing to me that they no doubt sat these governing body helpers down like, okay, we want you to give some really good quality sound advice for what it takes to be a good overseer. And after they were getting done editing it, they're trying like, okay, well, what can we get from old Ralph Wally here? And guys, I don't know what we can keep in this. Like, he's just kind of talking a bunch of nonsense. Don't get stuck in the past. Oh my goodness, his talks are properly terrible, and it's just funny to see like someone on the other side, because like I know when I do a video and he is one of the speakers, I have a hard time editing anything that he says just because it's so boring and confusing and mundane. And now I know that there's someone in Bethel that's doing the exact same thing as me, that's editing one of his talks or interviews, and it's like, God, what do we keep in with this? Don't get stuck in the past. Hey.
Be the point of contact for your fellow workers.
The point of contact for what?
A good overseer is all of those, but he must also follow the divine pattern of oversight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached absolute peak Watchtower content, a magnum opus, if I might say so myself. What does an overseer need to do? He needs to have good oversight.
Training is essential, but how it's done is crucial.
To this end, Principles of Divine Oversight, Acts 6:3, a school for overseers, will help brothers in oversight prepare others to become loving and effective overseers in the future.
Yes, divine blessings will not only flow into your department, but they will cascade throughout your entire branch, bringing refreshment and continue spreading across the world. And Jehovah's great spiritual city will continue to grow and flourish.
Well, I am always excited whenever Watchtower tries to claim that a sign of divine blessing will be the growth and expansion of the organization and blah, 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 blah. Apparently this new school is hip and cool and ready to ride, so yeehaw! What a wonderful blessing we get from Jehovah's organization during the 2022 annual meeting, and I am dumbfounded how I could have possibly missed this the first time that I watched it.
And how many tied in on stream in 64 countries? 83,394. Maybe we don't need to even put it on GW Broadcasting. Anyway, the total, 89,289. And we thank all of the brothers, all of the techies who were responsible for connecting all that. I'm sure it was a tremendous amount of work.
Oh yes, 89,000 people were watching the annual meeting live. And I did want to just keep this in here because I wanted to comment on something based off of a lot of the comments I got last year, and that was, why do you people on YouTube go and try and make a video, because then Watchtower is just going to go and edit it. I kept this in here because I'm thinking to myself, okay, 89,000 people, there was a lot of people all across the world. I think it's actually funnier if someone watched this live and maybe they remember something that was kind of like off or ridiculous sounding, or maybe came off as like really extreme, some sort of flub that someone gave when they were giving a talk, and then they go and watch the JW broadcast version that they release later, and then that thing is magically gone. For me, I think that actually has more of an impact, because it might cause someone to ask, hey, I thought they said this really weird thing. Did they edit that out? And who knows, maybe it could cause someone to start asking a few more questions. Just my personal opinion. Everyone has their own opinion on the whole matter and everything, but that is why I think it's actually good to, have some of these things out there in their raw form, and why I do want to put things out there before even it is on jw.org, because I think it would be interesting for someone that knows it, or even like a Bethelite or something, like, hey, go in there and make sure you edit this thing out. Maybe they're sitting there as they're editing it and thinking, I wonder why I'm being told to edit this thing out. And just from my experience, those type of situations can absolutely have an impact on someone and maybe cause them to be like, huh, that's a little strange. Anyway.
Housewives and mothers, rejoice in your work. Husbands and fathers, rejoice in your work. Single men and women, rejoice in your work. Widows and widowers, rejoice in your work. Oh, folks, rejoice in whatever you're able to do. Just call it work.
All right, so we got treated to a pre-recorded Samuel Hurd talk, and in my opinion, he's not looking too healthy or well here, and I guess that's why he had to pre-record the talk. Maybe he couldn't actually get up on stage and deliver it. So I did think that was a little bit interesting, and if you recall last year, because of some of the things he said, it actually got edited down from what was in the original talk, and then they came and edited it later. So maybe they just were like, we don't want to have to edit any kooky things he says, so we'll just give him a pre-recorded assignment. I don't really know, but this little clip perfectly encapsulates what this talk was like to listen to. Listing things in a very monotone, specific timing way to get to the end for a bad joke. Like, he just talked in this way, and it was absolute pain to listen to. So you didn't miss much, but there's a little snippet of a bad joke, and maybe you got a giggle from it.
But some may wonder, at a time when guests are not allowed on Bethel property, why is this visitors center so important to Jehovah? The physical buildings at Bethel are attractive, but what's more valuable to Jehovah is what happens inside. It's the spiritual gift that he has in store for all who come to visit that is so important. The Patterson Visitors Center is designed to be an immersive theocratic experience for everyone.
Next up, we had Watchtower hiding spiritual gifts behind a paywall. They essentially said, you know what? We are doing this because it's so important to Jehovah, and you are going to receive a spiritual gift. You just have to drum up a couple $1,000s for you and your family to be able to go to New York and learn about how ancient wine was made. Or sit on a boat behind a screen that has rain and lightning. Or see how they made clothing back then. Then you get your spiritual gift. Also, don't forget to donate if you are coming to receive this spiritual gift. I was really shocked that they had the audacity to say a spiritual gift that everyone can enjoy, when there's literally going to be Jehovah's Witnesses all over the world that will never even dream. It's not even an option. Well, just sitting around I'm never going to be able to go to America or New York and visit this spiritual gift. So I guess I just miss out on spiritual gifts now because I don't have enough money to attain them. And that's what Watchtower was reinforcing to people. So very shocking, very surprising.
In our modern day, I think of Brother Nathan Knorr as an outstanding trainer. When he became the president of the Watchtower Society in January of 1942, he was only 36 years old. Now, he could have thought, I'm so young. I have many, many years ahead of me to be able to care for matters. And so there really isn't any need to train others. But Brother Knorr did not have that disposition. He was a trainer even at that young age. He assigned Brother Milton Henschel, who was in his mid-20s, to be his secretary. Brother Knorr took Brother Henschel with him on his travels all over the world to branches and missionary homes to strengthen the brothers. We must actively be training and teaching the next generation of ministerial servants, the next generation of elders, the next generation of circuit overseers. And we must take this responsibility seriously. What is the governing body doing to support efforts to train young brothers? Well, in January of this year, the governing body requested all bodies of elders worldwide to give priority to helping younger brothers grow in their relationship with Jehovah and to qualify for congregation responsibilities. Elders and circuit overseers were reminded that young brothers who apply themselves may qualify as ministerial servants in their late teens, and that an exceptional ministerial servant who has gained experience in shepherding and teaching could serve as an elder in his early 20s. But the governing body has another new initiative. Governing body members will now have the possibility to take a younger brother along with them when they make shepherding visits to the branches. And appointed governing body helpers, who are headquarters representatives, will also be allowed to take a younger brother with them when they make their branch visits. These arrangements will allow many brothers to receive additional training directly from governing body members and helpers.
And then we got Elmer Fudd, who gave us a talk about training younger brothers. And I just tried to keep a few of these clips in here because I think there is a few things to talk about at least. I did find it, first of all, interesting how he says this is a new initiative when like 8 minutes prior to that, he describes how Nathan Knorr back in the 40s was taking younger brothers with him when he was traveling to other branches or Bethels or headquarters, whatever, around the world. And now they're like, and now we have this new initiative, this new initiative that's been around for the last 80 years. I just thought that his talk was a great representation of how low the bar is for anything that the governing bodies say. Another example, sorry, got a frog in my throat. Another example was how he said, now what is the governing body doing to support the worldwide brotherhood? Well, we reminded elders to do the thing that they're already doing and trying to get the young people to be servants and ministerial servants and elders. We reminded them that is how low the bar is set in the governing body's mind. How can you support people? Not by providing them food or helping them if they need shelter or helping them find jobs or housing or anything like that. No. Supporting people is just reminding elders around the world to literally do something they are already doing. And that, in their twisted imagination, is considered support. That's like, hey, I really supported you. I know you were thirsty and I saw you drinking some water and I said, hey, good job drinking some water. That's not support. You're just saying good job or reminding me to do the thing I'm literally already doing. It's so absolutely stupid. And I do think it is funny that in this annual meeting, we only get construction projects and reminders as like our big new light. There's no books or crazy movies or anything like that. Maybe next year's we'll get to see a little bit more action. But yeah, that bar that the governing body have is so low at the moment. It's ridiculous. It's hilarious to me. I just think it's funny when he says things like that. Like, what are we doing to support the worldwide brotherhood? Go, guys! Anyway, I didn't cover any of these on the main channel, so if you want to see this talk in its entirety, we did watch that over on the JW Streams channel.
This made possible sound cars and sound boats. The kingdom message was clearly heard on rivers, on streets, in parks and squares, in rented halls, theaters, and other public spaces. Equipped with tracts, booklets, magazines, and books, thousands of volunteers participated in special preaching and literature distribution campaigns. These special campaigns made it possible to cover large areas with the kingdom message quickly, even in the face of opposition. Street work, information marches, and bicycle parades boldly brought the kingdom message directly before the eyes of the public. Marches ranged in size from just a few publishers to about 1,000 publishers. Streams of kingdom publishers made their way through the business districts of large cities. They wore placards bearing a slogan, carried signs, or distributed handbills with the title of the featured talk at a public meeting.
Then they put together a 10-15 minute presentation about the history of the preaching work. Fairly unremarkable, not too many interesting things, just kind of really showing how little the Watchtower has changed down through the ages. It's like, wow, look at all of the changes, but you look at it like, so this is just old-timey cart witnessing. But then the governing body comes along and says, oh, no, we have this brand new initiative that we've been doing for 100 years now. It's very, very silly. But yeah, nothing too remarkable in this particular section.
He will have superhuman abilities. Let's identify 6 superhuman abilities that Jesus will possess and demonstrate during his wonderful 1,000-year reign. Jesus will have the power to command and control the wind, the sea, actually all forces of nature. Jesus, as Messianic King, will exercise authority over the organic elements in food and vegetation. Now, we're not talking about Ripple Thunderbird wine here. Well, he will have the power and the authority to heal all sicknesses and maladies. In fact, one brother said, can you imagine getting up in the morning, put your glasses on, you can't see anything. Everything's blurry. You take them off, now you can see beautifully. Not fantasy. We're talking about reality. Well, Jesus and his 144,000 associate kings will have the power to completely empty the grave, the common grave of dead mankind, by means of the resurrection. And then, according to Revelation chapter 20, verse 14, the empty grave will be thrown into the symbolic lake of fire. It will be abolished forever, never again to receive another occupant. He and the 144,000 will be able to read hearts, and that means what? They will be able to perfectly judge mankind with absolutely no mistakes. Amazing indeed. Jesus and the 144,000 will have the power to act against Satan and his demons, because Jesus even granted on the earth his disciples that same authority, didn't he? They were able to expel demons. So they will certainly have the power, even more so, to take action against Satan and his demons. At the end of the 1,000-year, or at the end of the Great Tribulation, I should say first, they will abyss them.
So after making us suffer for 3.5 hours through mundane annual meeting nonsense, we finally get governing body member Stephen Lett giving us some new light. He doesn't really come out and announce this as new light, but it was pretty interesting to me. It's always hilarious whenever we get inside the sort of fantasy land that exists in this man's head, and how he thinks of Jesus as like the superhero, and then when he gets finally raptured into heaven and gets his spirit body, he is also going to be a superhero as well. These supernatural abilities that everyone is going to possess. He does say it very quickly here, but Jesus and the 144,000 for these last 3 abilities, that of being able to fight the demons, being able to judge people, and being able to resurrect them. I think that this isn't something that they have said before, so I do find it kind of interesting that, okay, so now they are saying that they're not only going to be killing people at Armageddon, but they're also going to have the ability to judge people. They are going to get this granted to them. The reasoning behind it is he doesn't even connect it. If you think this is just me cutting it out, he reads a scripture that Jesus was able to read their hearts or something. Therefore, the 144,000 in Revelation, which refer to people in modern society that are going to be raptured into heaven before the outbreak of Armageddon and during the Great Tribulation, are going to be able to perfectly judge people's hearts. I don't know how he managed to connect something that happened 2,000 years ago I don't know. It's really very crazy. And all of these things, when he inserts the 144,000, there's no way to make that connection. He's like, well, Jesus has this superhero ability, therefore we're going to get superhero abilities too. Why? Because I said so. So I really find it great that we get inside of his little fantasy land inside of his head. And hey, we got a little bit of new light. So all of you non-witnesses out there, be afraid. Be absolutely terrified, because this man that looks completely unhinged, especially if you go and watch some of Watchtower's older videos, you see Stephen Lett just talking like a normal person. You can see the degradation, how he's sort of degraded over the years, and he just looks completely out of his mind right now as he's talking about how he and the other 144,000 are going to be able to fight demons, and they're going to cast death into the abyss, and they'll have the power to resurrect people. And it's really scary, and you should be terrified of this type of rhetoric. And I hope more, maybe I'll make like a short video or something just showing this, because I think the wider public needs to be aware that the happy little Jehovah's Witnesses that they see walking around, or they think they're harmless, this is their leader. They are following this guy. And if that doesn't just like put you off immediately, I don't know what else would. So anyway, there's your new light for the annual meeting. And that wraps it up. Another year, another annual meeting covered, wrapped up, sealed, spanked on the bottom, and done with. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. Don't forget to drop a like on this video if you're still around. Subscribe to the channel. I suppose if you're watching this now, that means we'll have hit our 10,000 subscriber goal for the year. So wahoo! Yeehaw! Very exciting. So thank you to everyone, and hopefully we can get on the way to 25,000 for next year. So that's the goal. We'll keep plugging away. Anyway, thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time.